All right. So this next guest I got to meet in person at BoucherCon a couple 3 months ago. Even got a picture
Has
with
it
him,
been
which
that
was
long?
nice. Yeah, it was a couple months now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Feels,
on.
yeah, has been.
Yeah, a couple months.
Wow.
So, and I immediately I chatted with you a little bit, and I was like, you know what, I got to get this guy on. He seems interesting, and you're also involved in about I don't know 80 billion different projects and stuff over the years as well.
Feels
But
like it
my
sometimes, man.
but my big first question is this is the serious first question about writing and everything. If you
Yeah.
and I were hanging out one night, we're at your
Hmm.
place, and you pull out your favorite bourbon to share with me, what would it be?
Well, my favorite bourbon is Blanton's, um, and it. So my history with bourbon is weird because when I was a kid, I didn't think I would ever like drink alcohol. I always thought I would be. I'd planned to be like going to law enforcement and like have this whole career in law enforcement, and so I wanted to be like straight and narrow, no drinking, no drug, and all that stuff. I turned 21 and that kind of changed, but back then it was just really like beer. It wasn't anything crazy. I didn't get into bourbon until man, maybe 8 years ago.
Probably,
I
probably
started
when,
out,
when I started. Yeah.
yeah, started out, small and worked my way up, and I found Blanton's just kind of on an accident. I'd always heard about it, but I could never find a bottle. I was in a bar once and they had it, and I ordered some, and I mean, I fell in love with it. It's just the taste is great. The smooth, it's smooth. It's just spectacular. So that is the one, and I have a little bit left in a bottle, and then I have another full bottle ready to go. And I got both of those about a year and a half ago. So I drink them very sparingly. So if you're coming over and I open the Blantons up for you, that means that you are somebody special. I'm trying to
And
show off a little bit.
that's the way to do it. So I'm gonna show off a little bit. This is my favorite, Pappy Van
Oh,
Winkle,
see, yeah, the
15
Pappy,
year, and I
15.
have about that much left in it. And what I do with this is, and somebody new comes to the house, and I always just
Yeah,
kind of feel them out if they're a bourbon drinker or not. If you're like I'm a beer
yeah,
drinker, I don't really drink, we're good. But if I find out that you're an actual drinker and you like it, then I'm gonna give you a shot. And usually people are impressed with that. So I've done shots for about I've had this for about 2.5 years. I signed a huge
yeah. That one you
for me. I
absolutely got to
signed a
save that
huge
one for.
contract, and my wife's like, "Get something, buy. What's on your bucket list?" And I'm like, honestly, Pappy Van Winkle. I mean, once you start reading Elmore Leonard, and he mentions it all the time, and I was like, you know what, I would love to, and it was like, I don't know, about 3 grand for this bottle, and
Oh yeah, oh
and
yeah.
so I hit the pay button. It took me forever to find a bottle, but it
That's the
is,
thing, right?
yeah. I mean, this is what I want, and it took me like 2 months to get it. The funny part was,
Exactly.
I had somebody come over and they were like, "Oh, I'll take that on ice." I said, "No, you won't." I said, "You'll take it like me and Elmore Leonard drink it. Me and Elmore, we drink it neat. That's how you're gonna drink it. You're not mixing it with anything. Like you don't. What are you doing?"
Yeah, it's I had the when I turned 45, I had a shot of the 10 year, and because it actually happened to be there, and it was only like $50 for the pour. So I'm like,
Well,
yeah,
that's
let's
good.
give that a shot. It was a birthday gift. I'm like, oh, okay, I can do this. One day, when I probably the same thing. If I ever sign that big deal or something like major happened, and I get a good nice chunk of change, I'll
Yeah,
I'll probably go on the hunt for a bottle that will last me several years
yeah. My wife has already said,
at
you know
least.
what? Enjoy it while you can. You're not buying another bottle of that. Enjoy it now. So I only drink it when with company, and again, somebody brand new comes to the house and hasn't had it before. That's kind of
Nice.
that's the rule.
Nice. That's pretty generous to even share it, quite frankly.
Pretty much. I mean, that's like $250 a shot.
Yeah. I took a road trip to Portland about 6 years ago, and I saw it in this Irish bar. Well, I was drinking Irish cider, and I'm, having it, and the bartender said, "You want something else to drink?" I said, "Well, it depends." I said, "I see you got Pappy up there. How much is it for a pour?" She goes, $175. I said, "Yeah, I'll have another beer. Thank you."
yeah. I don't know if I could do that per shot, but I was after everybody sips. I was like, "You owe me $250 now."
Right.
Pretty much. All right, so let's actually get into some. Let's get into the actual why we're here. I mean, I guess I was here for the talk of bourbon, but we'll talk about other stuff too. So,
Am I frozen on your screen?
Yeah, you're frozen. We can still hear you.
But you can hear me. Okay.
Yeah, you're just sitting perfectly.
It's a good frozen shot. I'm not looking goofy.
Yeah. Perfectly still. Do you consider yourself a horror author, a thriller author? Do you not worry about genres?
I don't worry so much about like labeling myself by genre. I am a storyteller, and whatever form that story takes is just kind of how I'll roll. I do find that I tend to be comfortable when it comes to adding like, supernatural elements, mythological, magical elements, things like that. I like that world. And that's it's often my default. But I'm not necessarily married to it. So I've dabbled in horror. I've dabbled in supernatural and urban fantasy. I have a mystery novel written that needs a desperate rewrite. So I do a little bit of all of it. And again, it just kind of depends on the story. Like where does that story going? I think I'm true to the story first, and then whatever else happens from that just kind of happens.
Right. And I think that's the right way to do it. Don't go, oh, I'm going to write a crime thriller, and then I get this great idea for supernatural, but
Exactly. When I first started writing, I kind of branded myself as this like supernatural thriller writer, and I was telling people that that's what I write. That's it. That's what I do. And then I moved to San Diego, and I met a bunch of folks and a bunch of writers, and kind of established this writing community, or established myself as a part of it. And the more that we would talk, the more it made sense to me that I'm not just that thing, because I have a lot of other interests. Like, I can write a story that maybe won't have supernatural elements, and it'll still move me, and it'll flow through me just as easy as anything else. So, and there's a lot of other things. Like I want to do a weird Western story. I want to do like a historical fiction type. There's just a bunch of things that are kind of in the back of my head to try. And so, because of that, I try not to label myself. I just let the story, speak for itself.
You've also done a lot of writing adjacent stuff, like workshops and anthologies and different things. How'd you get involved with all that?
Yeah, I fell into it. Again, I think it was part of, excuse me, it was part of me kind of becoming a member of this writing community here in San Diego. I go every month to a meeting, mostly every month, to a meeting called the Writers Coffee House, which is it's a 3-hour workshop that is held at a local bookstore here in San Diego, Mysterious Galaxy, and writers from all around all around town. We get together for that time, and we talk about writing and the craft, and we talk about the business of publishing. And it is led by Jonathan Mayberry and our friend Henry Hertz. And they just they get us involved in what's happening in the business, in addition to, answering craft questions and kind of streamlining the conversation in that way. And part of, over the years, we've talked about different ways that writers can get visible, make money, and talk about different things to either up and coming writers or readers in general, whatever that might look like. And one of the things that always comes up is the fact that every writer has some area of expertise outside of writing that could potentially benefit a writer, right? So it might be a past job. It might be something that you have a special skill in. Maybe that writer is looking for somebody with that particular skill, or they're developing a character that might have use for that particular skill. So like my background, I was a private investigator for about 7 years. And so I've got some skill in that, right? I've got some information about that could potentially help someone who's developing a PI as their character. Right. So that's kind of how it started. And I developed workshops, and I would present those proposals to different writing groups and, see if they were interested in listening. And thankfully, many of them have been. It has helped, a little bit that I've got some publishing credit, but it wasn't necessarily a necessity to have because I had the experience. And, over the years, I've developed other types of workshops just kind of based on either things that I've gone through, things that I've witnessed, things that I think could have helped me as a writer, when I'm just starting out. So like I developed one that we talk about introverts and how introverts can market and network, because I am a diehard introvert, and I know many writers are. Yeah. And marketing's hard. You got to get out there. You got to sell yourself. You got to sell your product. And so I talk about different, introvert types and those skills that go with those introvert types, and then how they can utilize those skills in a comfortable way to sell themselves and their work.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's great to have a lot of different streams, not only for the money coming in, but for the networking, for future endeavors. You don't know who's going to be sitting in the audience.
Exactly, and that's what it really is for me. It's just it's about networking. It's about creating a community of writers, but it's also like paying it forward, because I didn't become a published writer just on my own merits. I learned from other people. I learned different skills. I learned how to, craft a story. I've worked with other writers. I've worked with editors, publishers, and all those things. And I've listened to them in their workshops, and I've used all the things that they've taught me to kind of develop a way to write and develop my own style, my own voice, and all those things. So I don't learn anything in a silo. None of us really do. And so if I can, help a little bit, even if people are only looking at one thing that I share with them, and it helps them in some way, that does a lot for me. It just helps me kind of, again, pay that thing forward. So it's a networking, it's building that community. People find out about you, your work. You find out about them and their work. I'm notorious for promoting other people's work. If they've got something published and it's good stuff, I'm gonna share that stuff out. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna let people know in my circle, hey, this might be something for you. And if it's not for you, maybe you know somebody that it is for. Right. I think we only elevate the business if we are supporting one another, helping each other learn and helping each other grow as artists.
I definitely agree with that. So for anybody watching this for the first time and has not read any of your stuff, what's the one book you want everybody to start with?
If you're going for the books, you got to start with Death's Legacy. That was my first. That's my baby. Came out 5 years ago. It's a pandemic baby. It came out in 2020. I got that book. That book started as a script and a screenwriting workshop I was taking. And I got through the script, and I'm like, okay, this is good. I got a good grade in the workshop. But I need to do more with this, because this is a great story. And it was, writing scripts is hard. I don't know how many people out there writing them. If you are good at it, my hat's off to you, because that is, oh my God, that is a tough business.
I agree.
So I decided I wanted to expand that story. And so I basically flipped it, novelized it, ran it through a bunch of editors and got it out there. But it's a fun story for people that like shows like Supernatural, Buffy, Winona Earp, Jessica Jones. They're kind of an amalgamation of all of those things with a little bit of like Clash of the Titans thrown in for fun. So yeah, I would start there. And then, there's a bunch of short stories out there. You can pick up any of those. Those are everyone that I've written. I've had fun writing, and I think people who've read them have enjoyed all of them.
Yeah, very cool. All right, I got a couple of last questions for you.
Yeah.
So one of them, who are some of the authors that inspired you to write in the first place?
It's a great question. And I was just talking to somebody about this recently. So when I kind of started writing, I had no idea what I was doing. I just wanted to kind of get stuff out there. And when I realized I did not know what I was doing, I finally took a step back and started reading more. So I was influenced a lot by folks like Timothy Zahn, Anne Rice, Kevin J. Anderson. I was reading a lot of their stuff really early on. And as I started reading more and learning more about the craft, more recently, I think like Walter Mosley for sure has influenced me, especially when it comes to like crafting mysteries that have kind of like that edge of social justice. They're kind of looking at the real world. I mentioned earlier that I wrote a mystery novel a couple of years ago, that the one that needs the rewrites. And it was very heavily influenced by work that he's done. It's kind of got that feel. It's not so much a noir, but it definitely takes on a feel of this character is absorbing what's going on in his environment. Definitely engaging with people and how they are engaging with him. It's not just that one look. It's everything is kind of rolled up into that. Michael Connelly, his work is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And at some point, I started reading, I mentioned Jonathan Mayberry earlier, and I started reading his work about 11 years ago before I even met him. And I think he's phenomenal. He's another guy that's just kind of like a multi-genre. He started kind of as a horror writer. Now he's, he does military thrillers. He's done some Weird West stuff. He's done young adult. He's done a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, kind of seeing how you can actually do that successfully inspires me to want to dabble in different genres.
Right. Well, the readers they like your voice. Doesn't really matter what the the label, the genre label is. It's they like you, your characters, your story. Doesn't matter what you're doing with them. I think that's
exactly, and that's why I say I'm a storyteller first. Other than, I'm not a specific genre writer. I'm
right.
a storyteller. And so if there's a story out there that I want to tell, or that excuse me, somebody wants me to tell, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability.
Yeah. All right. So who are some of the authors out there that more people need to be reading?
I suspect a lot of people are already reading him, but if you're not, you need to get up on S.A. Cosby, Sean Cosby. His work is, it is fierce. It is real. It is gritty. It is well written. It takes you into the world that he creates. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I know obviously he's doing well. He's winning an award. He's on the bestseller list. But people need to be reading him if they're not. I would also say Tracy Clark. I've been reading a lot of her work over the last couple of years as I've been kind of getting more into the mystery world. One, because she's from Chicago, like I am, and her work is based in and around the city. And so I like reading her work to see how she describes the city, how she utilizes the city to kind of help tell and further that story.
Right.
How her characters view the city. Her stuff is gritty too. It's very character driven, and I have a lot of fun reading her stuff. I'd also say, and I say this because I read her book and then I got to know her a little bit more at BoucherCon. Kelly Garrett is phenomenal. Strong work, again, character driven. She takes you inside the mind of her folks, and it's a fun thrill ride to read.
Yeah, no, definitely. Those are some good ones. So I have to ask before we go.
Yep.
I know there was we you and I and you and other people had a long-standing joke all weekend at Bouchercon because people kept thinking you were Sean Cosby. And that was hysterical because I remember at one point I was like, "Come over and get a picture." Me and Alejandro Federici, and I'm like, "How many times did they?" I was like, "Hey, S.A. Cosby, come over here." And you laughed. And I think at that point, like you had been, you'd said like 14 times people had thought you were him.
What's funny is that wasn't the first. So I went to BoucherCon the first time when it was here in San Diego 2 years ago, I think it was. And so, our last names are similar enough. Obviously, it's
Right.
just, I've got an additional letter. I've been, you know, as a kid, I always got the Bill Cosby stuff. Are you Bill Cosby's, nephew, son, whatever?
Right.
And then for the smart people, the ones that thought they were smart, oh, you must be related to Bing Crosby, and all that stuff you get growing up.
Yeah.
And so, you get used to it, but I hadn't heard it in decades. So when I go to BoucherCon and I go to get, step up to sign in at registration and I give them my last name, there's always like this pause, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then I see them stop and they look up, and the first thing they say is, "Are you Sean?" And I'm like, "No, I am not." And I think all weekend, because you got the name tag on around you,
Yeah.
and people like they see I'm a black man. We're about the same build. He's much more muscular than I am, I think. We
You
wear
both wear
very different
hats.
hats. And he's got this long beard. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
like very distinctive. But they just look at the name and they see, and they're like, oh, this must be him. And so it's at one point I said I'd do a shot every time somebody would mistake me for him. And I realized I could not do that many shots
No.
one time. I saw him when he first got there. I said, "I'm so glad you're here." He goes, "Why? What's wrong?" I said, "It's happening again, man. They think I'm you." He's like, "You gotta be kidding me." So yeah, it's a running joke. I wish I had his sales.
Yeah.
I wish his accountant would get us confused. Maybe one
And
day in the future that'll happen.
it's a good thing because he's one of the good guys.
He's great. Yeah,
He's,
I would
he's very
much rather be
genuine.
mistaken for him than other folks.
Yeah. He's very genuine and he's very, he'll stop and talk to you for 5 minutes. Stop and
Absolutely.
take a picture with you.
Absolutely.
He's just a good guy. We had a bunch of us were hanging out in the bar, getting a picture taken, and he just came. He's dressed real nice. And he comes diving onto the couch with us.
I think I saw that picture.
Yeah, photo bomb. And I thought that was hysterical. So
Yeah, good heart. He's very approachable. Smart, funny, and every story he tells is just, it's great. Whether it's a funny story or a serious story, that guy is a natural storyteller.
yeah.
Whether he's writing it down or telling it verbally, you hang on his every word, and it's a lot. Because of his personality, I think that people gravitate toward him so easily.
Yeah. He's a good guy. You know what, Dennis? You're also a good guy.
Man, I appreciate that. I thank you.
It was fun getting to the few minutes here and there we got to talk. It was fun to be able to hang out. And I immediately said to my wife, "You know what? I got to have that guy on the YouTube channel because he seems like he'd be just fun to just have a 20-minute conversation." And I was right.
I appreciate that. It's been fun, man. I'm glad we got to meet and chat for sure. It's
hopefully.
And again, that's the thing about writing in the
line,
community. Like, we love talking to each other.
I'm not going to Calgary next year, but should be at the next 3 after that. So
yeah, I'm going to skip Calgary as well. But for sure, yeah, whatever's after that, I'm probably down for.
All right, well, good. Then Then we will go somewhere and get some bourbon. I mean, not $200 shots of bourbon, but a little bit. I like it. I don't like it that much. So
yeah, unless that big deal comes through.
Right. If one of us hits something in the next couple of years, then we got
exactly.
promise to buy the other one a good shot of something.
Exactly.
All right, man. It's great talking to you.
You too, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, definitely.